Hi everyone, and welcome to GISC 126, Fundamentals of GIS. I'm your instructor, Brian Krause, and today we're going to begin our lecture defining what a map is, and then quickly provide an overview of various types of maps. So ask yourself, what is a map? When somebody says, here is a map, what are you thinking about? So a map is a simplified representation of our world. And maps are not images of the world, but as I said, they are kind of a representation of our world. So maps represent the real world through generalization, abstraction, aggregation, and symbology. So all these things are used to create a map. And so maps are very persuasive documents, and they make arguments. So think about local maps that you might see that convey disease or rivers. They're conveying some kind of message or some kind of argument. And so a map is a form of visual communication. So there are three general types of maps. There's a mental map, reference maps, and thematic maps. And we'll briefly touch on each one of these in the next few slides. So a mental map. So a person's perception of the world is known as a mental map. So a mental map is an individual's own interpretation, own internal map of their known world. An easy example would be the image you have of your neighborhood. Your mental map of where you live allows you to know how to get to your favorite coffee shop, for example. It is what you use to plan activities and routes to travel. This kind of mapping is studied by behavioral geographers to help them create things that improve driving directions, for example, or navigating amusement parks. And here in this cartoon is an example of this mental map that this little kid has trying to figure out how to get to their house. And they can only show you how to get to one way to that house. They have to go back to the start. So they have a mental image, and this is how they navigate to get to their school first. So a reference map is also called a general map. And so a reference map is a map that emphasizes the geographic location of features, such as buildings, roads, railroads, rivers, etc. So in other words, they show a variety of basic information. So all information portrayed on a map is of equal importance. That being said, that no one feature is emphasized over the other. So examples include street maps, topographic maps, atlas maps. These are all reference maps. And so here we can see in this image, or this map, is of Boise State, the Taco Bell Arena, and it's just showing you the buildings, the roads, the water, and so forth. It's not showing you anything about population, elevation, and so forth. So this is just a basic reference or general map. The final type of map is a thematic map. And thematic maps illustrate the geographical distribution of a particular theme or phenomena. So this map shows heart disease death rates by county. So this type of thematic map is called a choropleth map, which portrays quantitative data as a color and can show density, percent, average value, or quantities of an event within a geographic area. So sequential colors on these maps represent increasing or decreasing positive or negative data values. So normally, each color represents a range of values. So returning to the map seen here, darker red areas signify higher death rates due to heart disease compared to the lighter areas. So choropleth maps let us quickly identify spatial patterns, as we can see here that the south and the eastern portion of the Midwest have a much higher heart disease death rate than the Rocky Mountain states, for example. So these maps then allow us to ask spatial questions as to why heart disease death rates are greater in some areas other than other areas. So other types of thematic maps include proportional and graduated symbol maps, dot maps, isometric maps, and these will be discussed in more detail later in the semester. So in this video, we just looked at what a map is and then identified 3 different types of maps. See you in the next lecture.